Odudu was a great warrior who ruled over the Odudu kingdom in the heart of the African jungle. He was always tasty for war and conquest. At 30, he was still unmarried, which was unusual in the African context in those days. One day, he summoned 200 soldiers and told them to get ready for war. He was going to attack Agade village unexpectedly and annex them to his kingdom because of the new trade routes he had discovered and the architectural richness of the people. On the day of the attack, he led his men to the top of the hills on the outskirts of the kingdom. The mighty warrior Odudu gazed down at the village below, clutching his spear tightly. His heart swelled as he looked on. He looked on from left to right. His 200 soldiers stood ready to charge into battle at his command. And he had prepared them and prepared for this all the days of his life since he grew up to know how rich the kingdom was. Odudu yielded, charge, and he thundered down the hill. They thundered down the hill toward the village, his men letting out fierce battle cries. The village fighters attempted to mount a defense, but were overwhelmed by the surprise attack. Odudu fought fearlessly, dodging arrows and swinging his spear with deadly precision. His heart turned to stone as he unleashed violence upon the enemy. Within minutes, the village chief surrendered in defeat. As Odudu's men celebrated, Odudu walked through the village to survey the captives. His eyes fell upon a young woman named Akili, who was kneeling in front of her hut, tears streaming down her eyes. Her cheek was wet, and she was sobbing seriously. Odudu approached her and gently lifted her chin with his hand. "Do not be afraid," he said softly, noticing how she was shivering in fright. She had recognized him as the mighty Odudu. Akili's eyes met his, and at that moment, Odudu felt a spark ignite in his heart, melting as he looked into the depths of her eyes. "What is making you to cry?" he asked unexpectedly. It was unlike him, a hardened man at that. He learned that Akili's father was killed in a battle. Odudu's heart twisted in anguish and regret. He thought of his own father and what he would have done if he had lost him in such a circumstance. Overcome with emotion, Odudu said, "Your father died with honor. You shall come to live with me as my wife and be treated like royalty." Akili was surprised. She was struck speechless. Odudu took her hands in his callous ones, hoping to reassure her, even as tears glistened in his eyes. The mighty, stone-hearted Odudu now has his eyes glistening in tears. That night, Odudu couldn't sleep, thinking of Akili. He loved her so suddenly. His love for her burned brighter than the fires of any battle. Odudu knew from that moment that he would not rest until he had made her his wife. And from that day onward, he knew that he would forever be tethered to this village he had conquered, because it was here that he had found his true home in Akili's arms. And he knew he was going to find his home there. Odudu did all he could to win her heart. At first, Akili was hesitant to open her heart to the man who had conquered her village and led his father and entire family to be wiped out. But Odudu showered her with kindness and compassion at every turn. He gave her lavish gifts and promised to rebuild her kingdom, her father's village for her, the kingdom where she had come from. Akili saw the goodness within him, and her heart swelled with love. As the weeks passed, Odudu and Akili's love grew deeper. He had not known he would find love in the village he was going to capture. Maybe that was what destiny had in store for him. And maybe that was what destiny also had in store for her. She kept thinking and crying all day. But at last, she took solace knowing the king was going to rebuild her father's kingdom. Moreover, what else was she to do? She asked within. On the night of the harvest moon, Odudu proposed to Akili. Under a cascade of stars, my love for you is eternal, as the sky, as deep as the river, and as lasting as the mountains, he said. Forgive me, Akili. I never knew I would meet my love in the village I was going to conquer. He pleaded and kept on pleading. Akili embraced him heartedly. She was tearfully crying and said, yes, she will marry him. At their marriage, villagers from far and wide came together in joy. Enemies became friends and celebrated the union of two hearts that had found love in the aftermath of battle. Odudu rebuilt Akili's village and made everything to be okay and gave them freedom, but he ran the business, the commercial aspect of the village and made Akili to be queen in the village. Odudu and Akili went on to have 3 children and ruled the kingdom for many years. Their love was legendary and served as a reminder that in the end, our humanity is greater than any conflict. Love conquers all. That is the end of the story. Please like, share and subscribe to my videos so that you'll be the first to get any new one I release. Thank you for watching.